Well, the temperature was hot on the Hill when Senator Ted Cruz presses Eric Holder over the investigation into the IRS targeting of conservatives. And the lead attorney now in that investigation, a woman by the name of Barbara Bosserman, that was the question here as we watch Ted Cruz. Listen.
Did you know that the lawyer in charge of this investigation was a major Obama donor?
Well, first off, the characterization of this lawyer as the lead lawyer on the case, I think, is not correct.
General Holder, with all respect, you did not answer the question I asked, which is, did you know that this lawyer was a major Obama donor?
No, I don't know anything about the political activities of any of the people who are involved in this investigation.
Well, Bosserman came under fire when it was revealed she gave more than $6,000 to Democrats during the 2008 and 2012 election cycles, and most of that was given to the president's team, President Obama. Stephen Hayes, senior writer, Weekly Standard. How are you, Steve? Fox News contributor.
Morning, Bill.
Live in D.C. Good morning to you. You say one of the most telling points from this hearing is that even to this day, many of the people who believe they were targeted by the IRS have not even been interviewed yet. Now, why would that be, and what did Ted Cruz have to say about that?
Well, I thought that was one of the most interesting lines of questioning that Senator Cruz used against Attorney General Holder. I mean, it has been nearly a year. I mean, we're approaching the year anniversary of this, and it is the case that most of those targeted by the IRS haven't even been interviewed. What kind of an investigation is taking place if the victims of the alleged, whether they're crimes, whether they're misdeeds, whatever they are, haven't even been asked about what happened? It seems to me that suggests it's not a very serious investigation.
You might be right about that from their perspective, too. Cruz said 280 days. I think Lindsey Graham chimed in and said, you know, how do you investigate if you don't talk to the victims? That's tough to do.
Yeah, it is. And look, I mean, the victims have spoken. I mean, they've certainly been telling their stories in the news media. They had been testifying before Congress in other settings, explaining at least the effects of what happened, given that the scrutiny that they received. But it would seem to me that investigators who are actually serious, if they are serious, looking at what happened, would want to be talking to the victims.
Well, now there are allegations that the administration, by way of the Treasury Department, is trying to do this yet again by another route. It's something called a C4. It's run through the Treasury Department. And Mitch McConnell was on with Megyn last night. And he said if the new director of the IRS doesn't do something about this, they'll be hell to pay. Here's McConnell with Megyn.
Nixon tried to use the IRS to go after his enemies back during Watergate, and the commissioner of IRS said no. So we've got a new commissioner over at the IRS. I think we want to see if he has the integrity to stand up to this White House like the IRS commissioner did when Richard Nixon was trying to use the IRS to achieve a political objective.
All right, that was from last night. John Koskinen is running the IRS now. He was newly appointed. Do you have any doubt that he can run this impartially? Do you think he can do it fairly? Or are there still questions surrounding this, Steve?
Well, I think he can do it fairly. The question is whether he will do it fairly. And we know that the administration has made quite a priority of redefining what is understood in the context of 501c4s as political activity. What does political activity mean? And in effect, what the administration wants to do is codify or further categorize the kinds of activities, the kinds of scrutiny that the IRS brought upon these conservative groups a year ago. They want to make that part of the new rule so that what was done in the past wouldn't be the exception. It would literally be the rule. That's a huge problem because it would rule out these kinds of activities, educational activities, non-political activities that these Tea Party groups and others have been engaged in.
What McConnell said is that he wants to see a statesman in charge of the IRS. And the reason you say something like that, Steve, is because the credibility of the agency is now on the line.
Yeah, I think that's right. Look, all of this, whether it's Mitch McConnell, whether it's Ted Cruz, whether it's Lindsey Graham asking questions of Eric Holder about Benghazi, there has been, it seems to me over the past year, a serious lack of accountability. I mean, that's just a word that we don't hear in the context of the Obama administration, whether it was the Department of Justice investigations of James Rosen, whether it was IRS, whether it was Benghazi. this is an administration that, particularly over the last year, there has been no accountability for the people who have been involved in these things. And when you have Ted Cruz asking, why haven't there been even interviews of these groups after 280 days, what he's essentially saying is, we need some accountability. Is there any on the horizon? And from Eric Holder, it seemed that the answer was no.
Yeah, I think you maybe make the most poignant point there. You asked the most pertinent question at the beginning of this segment. Do they take it seriously? We're about to find out whether they do or not. Thank you, Steve. Stephen Hicks
Thanks, Bill.
from Washington. Martha.